Today we are going to craft some jewelries in Splendor Duel. You are going head to head against another player trying to craft the most beautiful jewels that you possibly can by using these little gems. Because, well, all the kings and the rich and famous in the Renaissance area needs their jewelries, right? In this video I am going to show you how to set up this cool little game and how to play it. So let's just have a look at it. So this here is the setup of the game. We start by putting the victory tile at the top. Then we take the 3 jewel decks and shuffle them separately. We then take the top 3 cards from the level 3 deck and place them out next to it. On the level 2 deck we take 4 cards and place them face up next to the deck. And on the level 1 we take 5 cards and place them face up next to the deck, forming a pyramid. Below the pyramid we take the 3 scrolls and place them out, and under the scrolls we have the board. On this board we need to place 25 of these markers at random, meaning that we should place them in the bag first and then start to place them out. And we will place them out starting at the center. On this board you have a pattern, and we need to follow this pattern when we place out the little gems. Below this board we put the 4 royal cards, and now we at random decide who gets to start the game. The opponent takes one of the scrolls and places in front of them. Now we're ready to start playing the game. This game plays out during the Renaissance. You create jewelries for the rich and famous, and you will do this by acquiring these gems out on the board. When you have a certain amount of gems, you will be able to create jewelries. Whoever managed to reach the victory goals first are the winner. And this game is played out with the players taking turns, meaning that one player will do their turn to the fullest. Once they're done, the turn goes on to the other player. And during your turn, you have some actions that are optional for you, meaning that you do not need to do them, but there's also some actions that you need to do. Now, let's take a look at a player's turn. The first optional action you can choose is to take one of your scrolls and place them back on top of the board. Now, you can choose to take a marker from the board, but you cannot use this action to take any of the gold markers. Other than that, you are free to pick whatever marker you would like to take from this board, and then place them in front of you. Your markers should always be visible for your opponent, meaning that the best way to keep these markers is to put them in piles in front of you. So that was number 1 of your optional actions. 2, simply place back your little scroll here to take 1 marker out on the board. But there is one more optional action, and that is to refill the board. But you can only do this if there's actually markers in this little bag here. Otherwise, it will be pretty hard for you to refill the board. But you will simply do this by taking the markers from the bag, one by one, and refilling the board, starting with the one in the center and following the pattern around the board, until you have refilled all of the little spaces. Once you have refilled the board, your opponent gets to take one of the scrolls. So that was the 2 optional actions, meaning that you do not need to do these actions, but if you want to, well, feel free to do it. But there are some actions that you need to do. And there are 3 mandatory actions, and you need to do one of these actions. If you for some reason cannot do these actions because, well, the board is empty or something, then you would need to refill the board by using the little bag and the markers, and then do one of the mandatory actions. The first one of the 3 mandatory actions is to take up to 3 markers from the board. During this action you get to take up to 3 markers from the board, but they need to be next to each other, either horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. And you may not take a gold marker during this action, meaning that if you want these markers here, you would only be able to take these 2, and not the gold marker. these 3 here would not be able to be chosen as there is a gold marker in between them. Just like you are not able to take these 2 here because there is an empty spot in between them. But you would be able to take the 3 ones up here as they are in a line, or the 3 diagonal here, just like you would be able to take any of these 2 markers here, either the horizontal or the vertical, as you can take up to 3 markers, meaning that if a marker would be all alone, you would be able to take that one as well. If you use this action to take 2 pearls or 3 other markers of the same color, your opponent will get to take a scroll. The next mandatory action is that you are able to either reserve a card from the pyramid or one of the top cards from the 3 deck, and take a gold marker from the board. And this is the only way you get to take a marker with gold and put it in your play area. So this is a good time for you to get some gold. But it's also a good time for you to reserve a card. These cards are, like I said, either taken from the pyramid itself or from one of the decks, the top card. You then take this card and you place it in front of you. These cards are kept secret from your opponent. And if you have already reserved 3 cards, well then you cannot reserve any more cards. And if there are no gold markers out on the board, well then you are not able to do this action. When you have reserved a card from the pyramid, you need to refill that spot. And you simply do that by taking a card from the same deck and putting it face up in that line. If the deck is empty, well, that spot would not be refilled. The third and last mandatory action is to buy a jewel card. And you can buy either the ones that you have reserved in front of you or take one from the pyramid. Now you need to pay the cost stated in the bottom left corner. Meaning in this case here, we would need to pay 2 blue markers, 4 green markers, and 1 pearl. But if you do not have any of these resources, you can always use a gold marker instead of that resource. Gold markers in this game are kind of like a joker. The markers you have used to pay with goes back into the bag. As soon as you have paid whatever cost there is on the card, you will get the bonuses. The bonuses are stated in the top right corner, meaning that from now on, when you have bought this card, you will pay 1 green marker less in the future. This up here is the prestige points and will be used to win the game. This down here, this is an ability, and if you bought a card with an ability, that ability would activate now. But what do these abilities mean? Well, this one here means that you will get a privileged scroll. And if there is no scrolls available out on top of the board, you will take one from your opponent. This card here has 2 abilities. The one on the bottom means that you will get a new turn immediately. The one on the top means that you will be able to put this card on top of another card with a bonus. Now this card will count as a bonus as the same color as the card that is above, meaning that from now on you will get 1 blue bonus from this card below, but you will also get a blue bonus from this card that is on top of it. This ability here means that you get to take 1 marker from your opponent. If they do not have any markers, well then this will not activate, and you cannot use this ability to take a gold marker. And the last effect is this one here. This will let you take a marker from the board that has the same color as this card. In this case, a blue marker. If there is no blue markers on the board, well then this is ignored. Some of the cards also have crowns at the top of them. Some of them only have 1 crown and some of them have several crowns. But what do they mean? Well, these crowns means that when you get 3 crowns, you are able to take 1 of the available royal cards. And the next time when you get 6 crowns, you can take 1 more. As you buy more and more of these cards, you need to put them in rows in front of you. so you can keep a track on the prestige of each color, but also the amount of crowns you have. Because sooner or later you will reach one of the 3 victory conditions. But what do these 3 victory conditions mean? Well, this one here means that if you have a total amount of 20 prestige points on your cards that you have acquired in front of you, you will win. This one here means that if you have 10 crowns on the cards that you have acquired in front of you, you will win. But the last one here means that if you have 10 prestige points on cards of the same color, then you will win. Here we can see that we have a total of 11 on red cards, meaning that we fulfill these requirements and win the game. This card here, remember, will count as a red as well, as it is on top of a red card. And that, my friend, is how you play Splendor Duel. Players taking their turn, doing, if they want to, one of the 2 optional actions, and then doing one of the mandatory actions. When they take a card of the pyramid, they refill it right away. The little gold tokens here, remember, can only be acquired by doing one of the mandatory actions. You get your little scrolls, you'll get your little bonuses on the cards as soon as you have acquired that card and paid for it. When you have paid for it, these goes back in the bag and the game goes on and on until one of the players have reached the victory goal and becomes the best jewel creator out there in the Renaissance, and probably is dead today. This is a nice, fast little game that you can set up pretty much in no time and also teach the other player to play in no time. But there is quite a bit of strategy in this game, as there is a lot of things that you can do and there is a lot of things that you might not want to do. This game is quite hard to master, but it's easy to learn, and when you have done a couple of turns going back and forward, you pretty fast build up a strategy. And as you evolve in this game, your strategies will of course become more and more advanced, which means that there is a lot of replayability in this game. There you have it, my friend. That was Splendor Duel for you. A fast, cool little 2-player card game that you pretty much can bring with you anywhere. I mean, you could fit this in your shirt and nobody would even notice that you have it with you, right? If you like this video, my friend, well, be sure to give it a little thumbs up. Maybe put in a little comment for me. Tell me what you think about this game. Do you like it? Will you play this? I mean, look at these little markers here. There is something about markers that people just really like, me included. They make this little sound. I mean, it's awesome. The game is cool. The game is awesome. If you want to know more about it, check out the links in the description. If you like the video, do whatever you want to do. But most importantly, keep on spreading that board gaming love I know you all have. Peace out.